Hello, everyone. My name is Rodney Strickland. I'm currently a sophomore at Blaine College. I'm pursuing a degree in communication. I hope to take that to a bachelor degree program somewhere in Texas and pursue my BA or BS in communication and see where that takes me. Today, I'm here to talk to you about travel to New Zealand. If I could go anywhere in the world, my number one choice would definitely be New Zealand. So far, I've been to a couple different countries. Um, One on vacation, one not so much. And I think I've been to pretty much most of the east coast of the United States. Haven't been much out towards the west, but I think that's something. Travel is something that I've always been passionate about, and so I've been to Mexico, and the other country that I've been to is Qatar. So those are two very different cultures and climates from the United States. I think New Zealand goes and tops that off. New Zealand is located on the southwest portion of Australia, and so that's it right there. The New Zealand is broken up into two separate islands. There's a northern part, and then there's a southern part as well. Um, So New Zealand, the reason that it's a point of interest to me is because of the history, the geography of it, and the overall biodiversity. Um, so we can go on and talk about the history of New Zealand. So New Zealand was discovered, I'd say, back in the 13th century by a Polynesian people called the Maori. Um, these people, I guess, they are the indigenous people to New Zealand, and so you can compare them easily to the natives people of the United States. So for the Maori, when these people first came, um, they quickly noticed that this was a land that was pretty much completely untouched. They had different vegetation and different um, animals that they had never seen before back in around Australia. So they thought that this place was, a beautiful land and a safe haven. They thought it was sacred, and that's kind of how it first became discovered. Um, Towards the 16th and 17th centuries was when I guess Great Britain first discovered the Maori people in New Zealand. Much like the native people of the United States, it quickly became colonized, and the British people took those into slavery, and but the Maori people also tried to fight back, and that did not end successfully. And then there were treaties that were granted by Great Britain that that have gone and they have not been honored. Um, However, these Maori people have more recently tried to uh, have a resurgence in their culture and get back to their traditions and find and rediscover who they are as a people. I guess it's much comparable to the American Indian movement of the 1960s here in the United States, where many tribes across the country um, tried to build each other up and discover why there's so many problems and kind of what's going on. These people, these indigenous people here in New Zealand, are very similar to those here in our country. And being Native American, I think that's why New Zealand plays such an important role for me. And seeing that the indigenous peoples, kind of around the world, have a very similar struggle, and that's something that's I guess appealing to me for visiting the country. I want to experience that something similar, however, in a completely different place. Something that I think that'd be really very interesting and very heartfelt. But we can go on. We can go on and press about the history of New Zealand. So New Zealand geography, like I said earlier, is located off the southern coast of Australia in the South Pacific Ocean, and it is the southernmost western part, or southwesternmost part of Australia. That's kind of a hard word to pronounce. So New Zealand's size is actually pretty small. It's actually compared to Colorado, and it has about the same land mass, and also has the same land mass roughly about Japan. So we're not talking about a very largeable or very sizable country here. It's pretty small, but I think that a smaller country like that, having such a deep and rich history, kind of makes it more intricate. It makes it, you know, that much more closer. Uh, I think another thing that's interesting about New Zealand is that nowhere in the country are you more than 78 miles away from the coastline. And I guess just to put that into perspective, 78 miles is probably roughly like an hour's drive. And so, I mean, that's got to be, a beautiful part about the country, never be more than an hour away from the beach at any given point. Um, the year-round climate is another beautiful part about the country. It's actually year-round between 50 to 70 degrees. Um, you know, I guess in the northern parts is where it gets colder, and typically, in the mountainous region. But I guess more inland, that's where the temperature stays between that 50 and 70, and that's perfect light jacket weather. I think that's gorgeous. I'm much more of a colder weather person myself, so I think that's very appealing to me. Um, the island itself, physically, I guess, is about 1,000 miles long and about 300 miles wide. The biodiversity of New Zealand, out of all of the living life and out of all the species, or I guess, yeah, I guess all the living life that are on New Zealand, only about 5% are human. Um, so that just goes to show you that that other 95% that is different plants and it's different animals, and that's just because of the isolation that New Zealand lived in for so long. Um, this is basically how the country just came to become so rich, and this is goes going to tie again into why New Zealand is so appealing to me, and I hope that to visit it one day, and I hope that you choose to do the same. Thank you.